In this video, we'll cover everything there currently is to do in Umamusume, and every section will be marked by the given timestamp in the description below. Welcome to Umamusume. In Umamusume, after you finish skipping the tutorial, your job is to race horse girls. To do this, go to the Career Event tab, click Next, and select a trainee horse girl to race. After that, you then select 2 additional horse girls to serve as legacy horses from either your own roster or a friend's roster, up to 3 times a day. These legacy horses will pass down certain stats to your trainee for the career race. If you want to know what all these different stats even mean, feel free to skip to this part in the video. Now, where the legacy horses get the stats you see passed down onto your trainee is a lot more complicated and will be the least simplified part of the video, so this will be covered later. But if you want to hear the nerd part of the video now, skip to this part. After selecting the legacy horse girls, you then select 5 of your own support cards and 1 support card from another player to further buff your trainee during their career race. If you want to know how the support cards work, skip to this part in the video. After that, you start the career race and can start reading the horse girl's unique career story. If you just want to get to training and racing though, you can choose to skip through it and select shorten all events if you want to have minimal story. After entering the career race, the horse girl receives a first round of buffs from the legacy horses you selected during what's called an inspiration event. To save sanity and attention span, I'll talk about what inspiration events are later, but if you want it now, skip to this part in the video. From here, you begin your horse girl's training arc. Rest spends 1 turn to restore anywhere between 30 to 70 energy. Training spends a turn and some energy to train a specific stat, with the exception of wit, which restores a tiny bit of energy instead. The more times you train a specific stat, the higher the training level for that specific stat will go up to level 5, earning you more stats per training session. Also, summer events that occur during the career race will always have all skills trainable at level 5 for the duration of the event. When your trainee's energy gets too low, they have a greater risk of failing the training and getting no stat buffs, getting their mood worsened, and instead of running the track, they'll be running out of fucks to give. However, your energy level has no impact whatsoever when entering a race. Skills is where you can spend skill points on learning new skills without spending a turn. Some skills can make up for having a lower stat in another category, like how the skill Swinging the Maestro lets you recover stamina, letting you get away with having a lower stamina stat. The infirmary consumes a turn to try curing debuffs you might acquire at any time, which you can also see if you have by tapping the full stats button. Some debuffs take multiple infirmary trips to cure, while others can simply cure themselves on their own. Recreation spends a turn to raise your trainee's mood, which does impact how many stat buffs you get from training, and also impacts your trainee's performance in a race. Races spend a turn and grant skill points, fans, and certain stat buffs depending on your race result. Most of these races are optional, but your trainee has certain races they'll always participate in. To find out which races they are, go to the top and click Details, and you can further click on the information icon next to them to see what track type they are to best prepare your trainee for. You can also check what races they have to prepare for before even starting their career race. To do this, after entering the career mode, simply tap on any of the characters and tap on the Career Info tab here to see all the track types they'll have to train for. And if hearing the word career 3 times in the last 10 seconds makes you uneasy, well, at least this game's pretty free to play. After they complete their planned career races, they will then move on to 3 career finale races. And if they're doing the URA career, then the track types for these finale races will not be made known to you until they appear. However, the track type they end up being is heavily influenced by what track type you raced in the most often, including any optional races you took on. For more info on how the URA finale tracks are determined, I'll have a link to a Reddit guide attached below. The career race works on a calendar-like system, where your turns are essentially half-month segments. When you enter a race, you'll have the option to change their running style between end, late, pace, or front. The number below each running style indicates how many runners there are of that specific running style within that race, not including your own trainee. When you hit the change button, you can see your trainee's rating for each running style. For info on running styles, skip to this part of the video. Once you finish first in that specific race at least once with that trainee, you can click View Results to instantly finish the race and see your placement. You'll also have the option to view the idle concert that normally takes place after winning a race and enjoy one of the best parts about the game. If you failed to meet the placement requirement to continue progressing in a career race, you'll be given the option to spend an alarm clock, which raises their mood and lets them redo the race, with up to 3 total tries per individual career, which can make the difference between finishing in 13th place or 1st. If you run out of alarm clocks and haven't used 3 retries in a single career run, you can use 10 carrots instead to retry the race. If you have niche questions, you can also find me on twitch.tv/PocketChalk. After completing a career race, regardless of whether you won or lost earlier on, you will have some spark stats randomly generated that will be tied to that Umamusume's legacy moving forward. You can think of Umamusume's legacies like artifacts with specific stats that can be put on future Umamusume racers. After doing a lot of races, you'll find yourself having several legacies piling up, and if you want to learn how to manage or discard them, skip to this part of the video. Now, if you choose the same Umamusume you just finished a career race with as a trainee in a new career race, they will always start with a clean slate and do not keep any of the buffs acquired from a previous race. If you want to learn how the legacy stats from the blue, pink, white, and green boxes work, skip to this part in the video. Doing a career race costs 30 TP points, and you naturally generate 1 point of TP every 10 minutes. You can also restore TP with certain items or by spending a mere 10 carrots. As for where the Umamusume's bonus stats come from in the beginning of a career race, it's a bit complicated. To view what stats you get, look at the plus numbers that appear above your running stats. The stat numbers come from the combined spark stats of the Umamusume selected for the legacy slots. To see these spark stats, simply click and hold the icon of any Umamusume and then click the Inspiration tab, or just simply hit Confirm and you can see their spark stats on the right. The plus numbers displayed above the stats row come directly from the blue box values under the sparks section. Both the pink and blue plus numbers come from the blue box values. The blue plus number just indicates what comes from Legacy 1's blue box stats, and the pink plus number indicates what comes from Legacy 2's blue box stats. Now the stars in the blue box indicate how many bonus points they give for the stat indicated in the blue box, as seen here. The blue box stats come from being generated randomly at the end of an Umamusume's career. The type of stat buff generated in the blue box is completely random, but the number of stars generated is influenced by the final stat value at the end of an Umamusume's career, which is displayed here. Next is a pink box stat, which improves a racer's aptitude for either specific track type, track distance, or running style. The number of stars in the pink boxes from both the legacy parents and legacy grandparents' pink box stats indicate how much they can increase their respective pink box stat for the trainee, as seen here. However, the pink box stats cannot make a horse girl's aptitude increase past A rank at the start, but has a low chance of increasing their aptitude past A rank during a later inspiration event, which will be explained later. So, it's possible to go from A to S rank and obtain the ultimate stat combination of. The pink box stat is also randomly generated at the end of an Umamusume's career, and the type of aptitude chosen is randomly selected from one of the Umamusume's stats that's not at rank G. The number of stars generated in the pink box is also random, but isn't actually affected by the horse girl's total stats at the end of a career. Alright, if you listened to that on 2x speed and still felt it was too slow, I got you. Next is a green box stat. When you choose a legacy Umamusume through a 3-star rarity or a lower rarity race to 3-star status, a lesser version of the ultimate skill will always be made available to acquire with skill points during your trainee's career race. The star level shown in the green box indicates how much of a discount the ultimate skill will have in the skill point shot within the career race at a rate of 10% per star level. Did I say point twice? I did. Additionally, there is a chance you can receive additional discounts for the ultimate skill during later inspiration events during the career race, but this is not guaranteed. Only the initial inspiration event at the very start of the career guarantees you the initial discount and ability to buy the ultimate skill from the skill point shot. More on that later, or just skip to the inspiration events timestamp in the video. The number of stars in the green box come from your mom's house. Are randomly generated at the end of that Umamusume's career race. If the Umamusume is a 3-star rarity, the green box will always be generated. The green box stat is the only guaranteed skill to be passed on from the direct legacy of the parent trainee, and the additional green box stats from the legacy grandparents only have a chance of being passed on to a trainee. And that's I'm just kidding. Finally is the white box stat. These are either skills that were purchased in the skill point shop during that legacy Umamusume's past career race that can be made purchasable again if they're passed on to the trainee, or simple bonus stats given for them having completed a G1 tier race during their past career race that could be also passed on to the trainee. There are also career bonus stats, which are essentially just another stat boost. The name of the career race they came from as their title, but the stat boost is only activated when playing in that specific career race. Currently, we only have the URA finale, but there will be future different races to choose from. The white box stat is the only stat that's not guaranteed to be passed on to the trainee at the very start of the career race, and just has a chance of being passed down. The star level in the white box determines either how much of a discount they give for the skill they represent to be made purchasable, or how much of a stat bonus they give just by themselves if proctored an inspiration event, which is entirely random. So school issue isn't a problem here, but what is a problem that's during mini auction levels insanity? So I'm just gonna The white boxes have a 20% chance of appearing at the end of an Umamusume's career if they've either purchased that specific skill during their career, won a G1 race, or won an entire career race. Skills with the double circle that were purchased during their career have a 25% chance of appearing, and gold skills have a 40% chance of appearing. One other thing to know when it comes to the box stats is the affinity level your trainee has with both their legacy parent and legacy grandparents, Umamusume's combined. The affinity levels from lowest to highest are triangle, circle, and double circle. Affinity levels only affect how likely the Umamusume are to pass on their skills and do not affect the blue and pink stats whatsoever. Though affinity is really only something to aim for in the long term, after you get good blue and pink stats. To find out what horse girls have more affinity with each other, feel free to visit the affinity calculator from the Game Tour website, linked below. Next thing to know are the inspiration events. There are 3 inspiration events that happen throughout a career race. The first is at the very beginning of a career race. The second is during the first half of April in year 2, and the third is during the first half of April in year 3. The very first inspiration event is where all the plus numbers and highlighted stat upgrades you saw while setting up your trainee's legacy Umamusumes come in. However, during the second and third inspiration events, a random number of stat upgrades from the blue box stats come in. You're still guaranteed to have some extra stat bonuses on the blue box stats, but you're not guaranteed to have all of the stats added a second or third time like you did during the very first inspiration event. The pink box and green box stats are not guaranteed to be added during the second or third inspiration events at all, and in my experience only showed up about 20% of the time. And the white box stats are still entirely RNG from the first inspiration event to the last. If you happen to get a skill discount from a white or a green box stat upgrade during one of the inspiration events, but already bought that skill, you won't be able to buy it again, and the discount will not be added retroactively. If you're completely unfamiliar with what the stats even mean, in a criminally short summary, speed just represents your top speed in the last third of a race. Stamina is for how long they can run at their optimal speed. Power is their acceleration and ability to break through when crowded in by other racers to get to their preferred position. Guts is for how fast their stamina drains in the last third of a race, though I wouldn't go for this until it gets buffed unless it's holding every friend you have hostage. And wit is for how likely they are to activate their skills at the beginning, middle, end, and after a race.
Thank you very much for giving me this. And I appreciate my friends also. My wife and my girlfriend. My wife, sorry to say.
For a more in-depth guide on how these stats currently and will work in the future, check out Status Nexus's video, linked in the description below. When it comes to track type, turf is just grass, and dirt is dirt. As for distance, runners who favor sprint and mile distances tend to prioritize speed over anything else. Runners who favor mile and medium distances likely prefer a balance of speed, stamina, and wit. And runners who specialize in medium and long distances heavily prioritize stamina, with a lesser but still present need for speed and wit. As for running styles, front runners don't really need much power to accelerate past the majority of runners after the start of a race. Pace runners who sit behind front runners will like some power to overtake the front runners towards the end, but a good amount of power they'll need will already come from training the speed stat. And late and end runners who sit further behind the pace runners conserve the most stamina and rely more on their power stat to accelerate to the front in the last spurt of the race. Also, Umamusume will have varying growth rates, showing which stats they can train up at a slightly higher rate. To see this, when selecting an Umamusume to race, tap the Details button here, and look under the Growth Rate section. When it comes to support cards, these give various buffs to your trainee during the career race. Also, support cards that have the same character as the one you're training cannot be used as a trainee, as they can't be used as support themselves. When you see a stat training section with an exclamation mark next to their icon, that means they will randomly trigger one of their support cards' skills when entering that training. To view what skills that support card can trigger in the select screen, simply hold-click on that support card and tap the Skills tab. Keep in mind, when a support card's skill activates, it doesn't give the skill listed to your trainee outright, but just gives them the opportunity to buy the skill in the first place, with a slight discount from the skill point shop. However, sometimes an exclamation mark event will just give a small stat bonus instead of the skill discount. You can find the amount for this random possible stat bonus for any support card from the support section of the Game Tour website I'll have linked below. Also, if you see 2 exclamation marks at once, only one of them will be randomly chosen to activate. Support cards will also have career events that are essentially just mini dialogue that can randomly happen throughout a career race and give various buffs. And finally, when you see a rainbow border around a support card's icon, that means it will trigger the friendship bonus effect listed under support card's support effects section. Rainbow borders will only appear over the training stat that support card is tailored for. However, the rainbow border can only appear when you've trained with a character from that support card enough times to have leveled their friendship gauge up to the orange level. However, if you're using a support card that has a smile icon in the top right, which are known as scenario cards, these won't make a glowing rainbow border, but instead will have a chance of unlocking a series of recreation scenarios involving the character from that card, which will grant various buffs every time you tap their option from within their recreation tab. If you see a glowing scenario green text over the card, it just means it can trigger special events for more modest buffs from the specific career race you're doing, which can also be found from the Game Tour website linked below. Support cards can also be leveled up to grant more support effects prior to entering your race. From the main menu, go to the Enhance tab, tap Support Cards, and then tap Level Up. Leveling consumes support points and monies, which you get from career races, daily races, and just from playing the game in general. When a support card hits their level cap, simply go to the Uncap tab and use any available duplicates of that support card to increase their level cap for more support effects. See what we got here? All right, support card, go! Don't be air sucker! Please! To discard support cards you don't need, tap the Enhance tab, go to Support Cards, and tap Storage. From here, you can select any card you want to discard and click the Convert button. You cannot, however, discard any support card you only have one copy of. Discarding a support card will grant you either rainbow, gold, or silver cleats, depending on their rarity, which can be exchanged by tapping the Cleat Exchange button and trading for any items here. To customize which support card of your own you want listed for your own friends to potentially use for their career races, from the side menu, tap Profile, then in the bottom middle under Career Support, tap Change and select the support card you want others to use from there. You can also change which Umamusume legacy you want to be usable for your friends' career runs as well. If your star Umamusume gets used by others as a support, you'll be compensated with club points. To find friends, from the side menu, tap Friends, and find one randomly from the Recommended tab or look them up by ID, and then tap the green Follow button if you want to use their supports. This is instantaneous and doesn't require them to accept you for who you are to use their supports. But if they don't follow you back, it's basically a one-sided relationship. You can follow up to 15 players, but you can buy additional spots from the Friend Point shop. There is also a limit for how many people can follow you, but currently that number is unknown. Outside of the career race, you can also unlock new potential skills for your Umamusume by going to the Enhanced tab, tapping on Trainee, and then tapping potential levels. Umamusume will require various winner's sashes and other materials that come from doing career races, events, or other shops. For the winner's sashes materials, these can only be acquired by coming in first place in the specific race the winner's sash comes from. But these races are always part of that Umamusume's career race campaign, so you won't have to worry about finding them. Keep in mind, leveling up their potential only grants them the option to purchase that additional skill during a career race and doesn't give them the skill outright. Umamusume can also have their star level enhanced using their star pieces, which can be obtained from rolling the gacha, event shops, or by exchanging statue currency, which also comes from rolling the gacha and career races on occasion. Leveling up an Umamusume's star level increases their base stats as well as their ultimate skill level. Also, leveling a lower rarity Umamusume to 3 stars unlocks their unique outfit. And in Mayano Taken's case, she's given a bomber jacket and gets her speed buffed from 73 to 1380 miles per hour. Star pieces can also be used to get new Umamusume units for free. This can be done by going to the Enhanced tab, tapping Trainee, tapping Trainee again, and scrolling to the bottom to see the trainees you haven't scouted yet. You can tap on any of the grayed out icons to see how many star pieces are left to unlock them. From the Enhanced tab, you can also manage previous Umamusume legacies by tapping Veteran Umamusume, then tapping List, then tapping Transfer, and then selecting any Umamusume legacies you don't plan to use, and then tapping the green Transfer button to discard those legacies for support point currency. Or, if there's a legacy you want to keep, simply tap their icon, and in the top left, tap the grayed out caret icon to unlock their legacy so you don't accidentally delete it. There's also a daily checklist to get daily rewards, which refresh every day at 3 p.m. UTC. Keep in mind, for the complete a career playthrough daily task, simply exiting a career race won't count towards the task, but if you win your DB race and then have the career end by failing to meet the next career requirement, that will count towards the daily task. As for daily races, you can find them by tapping the race icon at the bottom middle right, tapping daily races, and choosing which currency you want to try farming for from these races, being either monies or support points. For team trials, you can find these from the race icon and going to team trials. These engage you in PvP team races with anywhere between 5 to 15 of your own Umamusume racing at a time, depending on your team trial's class rank. When you enter a team trial, it costs 1 tick of RP, and 1 tick of RP takes 2 hours to regenerate. The point of team trials is to achieve and maintain a higher score than the promotion line of your current class. The promotion line is the average score of all players within your current class. If you maintain a higher score than the promotion line by the week reset, you will be promoted and given various words accordingly. The support bonus is a percentage that adds onto your team trial score and is calculated by the number of support cards you have at level 20 or above, with a specific percentage added per card per specific level, as shown in the graph here. You also gain a small amount of fans for team trials, which get added to your club's total fan numbers. To find a club to join, tap the club icon in the bottom left and simply join one at random or look at their name. Once you've joined a club, once a month you'll receive carrots for Gacha rolling and club points for the club point shop, with the amount you receive depending on the ranking of your club as shown here. Ranking is dependent on the total number of fans your club members earn for your club through just playing the game. Lastly, while you're in a club, you can request items from other members through the Item Request tab on the right, but you can only request the specific items shown there. When you donate to other people's requests, you also get 10 club points to use in the club point shop. If you want to race your fellow club members, you can go to the Rune Match icon or go to the Race tab, tap on Rune Match, and engage in custom PvP matches of your choosing, or just join someone else's random PvP match in the wild. Also, from the Race tab, you can find limited time event races which have daily entry limits for event rewards. These races, as well as any other non-career race like the daily races, have a chance to make the daily shop appear, from which you can buy various items with monies. If you don't know what to buy and just want to play it safe early on, just buy the alarm clock in Parfait and then tap End Sale to end the shop early, so you can have a chance to make the next pop-up shop appear sooner without having to wait for the 10-minute timer to expire. And finally, for the Gacha system, you can find this from the main menu by going to Scout and choosing to roll for a character or a support card using the Carrot Premium currency. When starting out, it is recommended to roll for more support cards over more characters, as support cards in the short and long term will provide more strategies to use, while most characters can just be adjusted to whatever gameplay style you prefer with the right support cards. But in the end, it's on you to decide to follow the meta or to follow your heart. If you just started out and want to have the best rolls to start with, then rerolling is the way to go, which only takes about 60 seconds. To do rerolls, from the main menu, tap on the Data Link button from the right side menu, and then tap Data Link again, and then tap the Set button and set a password for the account you currently have if you want to save it, and write the trainee ID and password down in case you want to keep that account. Afterwards, from the right side menu, tap on the To Title Screen button, and from the title screen, tap on the 3-line button in the bottom right, and tap Delete User Data to start a new account. You can always log into your old account with your trainer ID and password later. After that, it will give you the option to skip the tutorial, and you can claim all the new account rewards and get back to rerolling. If you decide you want to use a previous account you rerolled after already starting a new account, then from the main menu, tap on the Data Link button and tap on the Link button, and just simply type in your previous account's ID and password, and your previous account data will load into your game as normal. There's plenty more to enjoy from Umamusume, from 3D animated game story chapters to 39 episodes of anime to consume on Crunchyroll, to customizing your own concerts in-game with your own custom singers and backup dancers. And while an anime horse girl racing simulator wasn't what I was expecting to get obsessed with this year, I have to say, they did a pretty good job, making me glad I did.